Hello there, all beautiful people. Today is the beginning of the greatest festival and gathering of people of all time. Since time immemorial, since the world began. Today, Monday, the 13th of January, in the fake year of 2025, the Kumbha Mela begins. The Kumbha Mela, as it's known. Here's a book that I have had now for probably over 30 years, and it's from the 1989 Kumbha Mela. The Kumbha Mela takes place in Allahabad in India, where the Ganges, the Yamuna, and the mystical river Saraswati meet. It's a huge empty plain of land, and a city must be constructed to accommodate the people that are going to show up this year. And the authorities are expecting 450 million people. Get your heads around that, people. Almost 1.5 times the population of the entire United States of America. Now, it happens always at the beginning of the Eastern astrological year of the year of the snake. Hope you can see that okay. My background isn't very great. This is the best way that I can show it to you. It always ushers in the year of the snake. Now, this book is from 1989. Then it took place again in 2001, and then in 2013, and right now in 2025, it's happening again. If you want, you can freeze frame and read what is on the pages. I'm just going to go through the book and show you the pictures as I go through. Now, I first found out about this in 1989. I didn't know much about it before then, but it's been going on since the dawn of time. And holy men and spiritual people and the inquisitive, they show up every 12 years. And it begins tonight with the full moon. And it begins tonight, the 13th of January, and it ends on Wednesday, the 12th of February. And it is going to be wild. Now, in order to accommodate the people, hundreds and dozens of bridges have to be built across the Ganges. And in they come, in their millions. Yeah, now, I read that Mark Twain visited the Kumbh Mela in 1893, and he wrote about it. And I think it was in his writings, I'm not 100% sure, but in his writings that there was a battle took place here. Because the Naga Babas, the people who worship the Nagas, who are always naked, and they show up and they demand that they are the very first to bathe in the Ganges River or the Yamuna River. And anybody that tries to go in before them, they'll kill him. And I think it was one of those years back in maybe 1893 where a battle broke out. And there were 800 or 1,000 people killed in this battle. They do not tolerate anybody getting into the river before them. And so as the story goes, they come from thousands of miles away up the rivers. And nobody ever sees them on the road walking towards the Kumbh Mela. They enter the river up in the Himalayas and they exit the river down in Allahabad where the Ganges meets the Yamuna. What do you think of that? Yeah? So battles have taken place in recent years also, but not to the extent that they happened back in 1893. It may have been actually before that. But anyhow, people from all walks of life from India, they are going to show up here. Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, Muslims, even Christians. They can't miss this. They all show up. And it begins tonight with the full moon, lasts for 1 month, issues in the year of the snake, and ends at the next full moon. Where the city that they have to build to accommodate 450 million people will be dismantled, and it'll just go back to what it looked like beforehand, a piece of desert, an empty plain. Now, during it, I might read out some of the little bits of small writing here along the bottom, but in any case, I hope if you're able to freeze frame and zoom in, you're going to be able to read about it yourselves. Now, during the Kumbh Mela, tens of thousands of people will leave their bodies. They'll pass away. Their crematoriums have to be set up everywhere to deal with the dead bodies. And also, tens of thousands of children, not babies, will be born during this next month at this festival. There's nothing you can do to stop it. You can't, I mean, this festival freaked out the Brits when the Brits seized control of India. Suddenly, you know, like the Indian people are very calm. They're just sitting around doing their daily things, and suddenly tens of millions of people just get up from all, not just the Indian subcontinent, all over Southeastern Asia. They just take off and start walking towards the Kumbh Mela. The Brits didn't know what the hell was going on. What's going on here? Not a clue. People just know that the time is coming. They must go there once in their lives. And they took off in their millions. Freaked the Brits out. It was one of the things that showed the Brits, man, we cannot control this place. If it ever gets out of hand, we're going to lose big time. It was a shock for them to see the people just take off, many of them all going to here for 1 month. Many are not going to make it home. It doesn't matter to them. They're not attached to this world like Westerners are. And people need to eat for a month. 450 million people are going to need breakfast and dinner. So the food stalls, the food has to be brought in. I mean, nothing in the world compares to this. There's a couple of Nagas covered in ash, naked, on their way down the road. So let's just continue. And Maharajas and kings and queens and gurus and salesmen. This guy's buying a camel load of wood, negotiating the price. It is their coldest time of the year. Even though when I was there in December once, and I could see people walking around with hats, scarves, woolly jackets, and they were laughing at us in our t-shirts because it was 30 degrees when we were roasting. They were freezing. There's a body on its way to a crematorium, passes away at the Kumbha Mela, and it's an instant rebirth in the spiritual world for these people. They have no fear. They're not attached to life on earth like us Westerners are. They have a whole different concept of life and death and spirituality. And the Ganges and Yamuna River are holy rivers. So to bathe in these holy rivers at this time with the correct intention, of course, leads to the eradication of sins of many lives. And they laugh their way there, laugh their way through life, laugh their way through death and rebirth. They have an understanding of the man's and woman's appearance and disappearance from this world more so than we have in our fake Western teachings. So, what more can I say? I'm going to just show you the pictures. Like I say, you can freeze and read what's going on. But there are some really good photographs in here of that 1989 Kumbh Mela. But when I first discovered it, I found out that during this 1989 Kumbh Mela, hundreds of thousands of people went missing. Many of them children who didn't know their surname, their last name, didn't know what village they came from, and ended up as orphans in other people's families. People never saw their children again. And then when it came around to 2001, the authorities had put huge, massive TV screens up everywhere. And any missing child that was found was photographed, and its photograph was put up on the big TV screen with a location as to where the child can be found. And in 2001, no children went missing. Here's a very interesting story here. This man apparently appeared at 15 or 16 Kumbh Melas. I'll read it out to you here. This is his hut. In the early morning, a small crowd of pilgrims gather in front of Devara Baba's cottage to hear a few words from a timeless wisdom. And here, Devara Baba, a 250-year-old sage, relaxes in the warm rays of the sun on his cottage veranda. What do you think of that? 250 years old. He's got no birth certificate or trust account at the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah, Securities Exchange, does he? Look at the crowds. Now, in 2001, Channel 4 television showed a 15-minute clip of the daily goings-on at the Kumbh Mela for the entire month. And I had a video cassette recorder, and I have that somewhere in a box on video cassette. And there was one shot that stuck to mind, and it was the Naga Babas. And there was a helicopter out over the river, and it was filming these Naga Babas on the beach. You could see about 500 of them. And they were looking at the helicopter, knowing there was a camera on it, and they were waving their swords and spears at the helicopter, at the camera. When the helicopter panned back, there was about 5,000 of them behind the first clip. You could see more of them. And then as the helicopter panned back again and showed its camera the whole way down the riverbank, there were about 5 million of them. I shit you not. All waving swords and spears. And it was a message to the West. Yeah, try and come and take us over. Just try, and you'll see what's going to happen to you. And they tolerate no bullshit. They'll kill to keep their ancient ways of life alive. And of course, they still to this day, they demand first rites of bathing under this full moon tonight, right now, in Allahabad, by the riverbank. And anybody that tries to get into the river before them, they'll kill them. And the authorities can do nothing about it. What are you going to do? How are you going to stop these people? These people are unstoppable. They come in peace, but they're prepared for war. Now, also in that 2001 Kumbh Mela, I saw a guy like this. Now, not this guy, looks like him, but probably bigger and fatter. Wait till you hear this. I have him on video. He's naked. He's walking up the road. He has a rope tied around his testicles. And with this rope, he's pulling an SUV with about 20 guys in it. And he is trundling along like an elephant, pulling an SUV with a rope tied to his testicles. 20 guys in this SUV, and them all hanging out the window, sitting on the roof, cheering and roaring. And that's the strength one gets through celibacy. I'm trying to leave these pages open long enough for you maybe to zoom in on the writing. If you want to read it all, yeah, I'm going to try and... This is my best way of putting it up for you to see it and read it. I've always planned to go to the Kumbh Mela. Every Kumbh Mela that it happens, I plan to go. 12 years ago, I planned to go. 24 years ago, I planned to go. This one, I planned to go. And here I am, still stuck in Europe. Unable to go. And maybe next time, I might make it. So yeah, this is probably one of the first photographic evidence, photographic depiction of the Kumbh Mela. Who's this guy? Large white and red markings on the forehead identify this holy man as a worshipper of the Godhead Vishnu. Vishnu is the same as Krishna, an expansion of Krishna. Shiva is a partial expansion of Krishna. Deals with the annihilation of the material world. Mount Kailash was his mountain. All types of people, snake charmers, these guys get bit regularly. If that bit us, we would be leaving our body at the Ganges River. But to them, it's like the sting of a snake. Or the sting of a wasp, sorry. So all types of people, all gathering in peace, all blown away by the sheer magnanimity of this Kumbh Mela. Now, over social media, YouTube, TV, everything, for the next month, they're all going to be covering this. You're going to see it everywhere. If you go look for it, you'll find it. And you will be astonished at what's going to take place. People take oaths for 12 years. I saw in some of the video films that I took where these guys, one of them, said he was only going to eat one pear per day for 12 years. And it was at the end of his 12-year period of just eating one pear per day. And he was the most muscular, fit-looking person you ever seen in your life. 12 years, one pear a day. Some people decide to not lie down for 12 years, stand for 12 years. And they even sleep standing up. There is a photo in here of one of those people that sleeps standing up. I also saw one of a man where he held his arm up in the air for 12 years. And it's proof that you're not the body. I am not this material body. I am not the arm. The arm didn't come down for 12 years. The hand was gone. The arm had withered away, dropped off. No kidding. And he overcame all of this because we have the power to overcome anything that can affect our material body. It's not recommended. These are not the type of austerities that are recommended for one who is actually seeking salvation. But yet, this is what they do as a penance for their sins, to seek salvation and to prove that they are not the material body. Yeah. So, getting towards the end of the book now. So today is the day that it begins, and it will last for 1 month. And it will be the largest gathering of people of all time. Many Westerners will be there also. Every Kumbha Mela that comes along, more and more and more Westerners go there because they realize its importance. And you will hear a lot about it in the coming month from many of the visitors. These are the two guys that put this book together. So, that's about it. The Year of the Snake, the Kumbha Mela, the world's largest act of faith. And it begins tonight. So I hope you enjoyed that. And there's going to be a lot of stories coming out of this Mela. And especially right now in the crazy state of the world, it could be significant. It could have a significant impact on how the world pans out from here on. So, happy 2025, everybody. Happy Kumbha Mela. And I'll be back in touch with you all soon.